What if I told you some of the most beautiful black actresses Hollywood, once called timeless goddesses, have now changed so dramatically fans can barely recognize them? Wrinkles, shocking transformations, devastating secrets, and in some cases, tragic downfalls that will break your heart. Today's video is called 11 Black Actresses Who Have Aged Badly. You'll cry watching this video. And trust me, the last one is the most disturbing of all. So don't look away. Hit subscribe, turn on notifications, and stay until the end, because these stories are darker than anyone ever imagined. Monique, The Way of a Crown. In 2009, when Monique stood on the Oscar stage holding that golden statue for Precious, she didn't just win an award. She shattered a mold. She was bold, unapologetic, radiant in her fullness. In an industry obsessed with shrinking women down to fit a fantasy, she expanded. She laughed loudly. She owned space. She made power look effortless. For many, she became proof that beauty didn't beg for permission. But crowns are heavy. Years later, in the spring of 2018, inside a brightly lit studio in Atlanta, the audience waited for the same woman. The queen of confidence, the force of nature. When she stepped onto the stage, something shifted in the air. The applause faltered. The cameras zoomed in. The woman before them was dramatically thinner, nearly 100 pounds gone. Her cheekbones cut sharper. The softness that once framed her face had vanished. Under the harsh studio lights, every line, every hollow shadow felt amplified. She spoke calmly about discipline. Early mornings, clean eating, 5 years of work. No shortcuts, no surgery, just sweat and willpower. She said she had found herself in the process. But the world didn't listen. Whispers grew louder than facts. Hormones, pills, dangerous treatments. She looks 20 years older, someone muttered online. Tabloids split her image in half. Before, after, triumph, tragedy. The narrative flipped overnight. The same woman once celebrated for defying Hollywood standards was now accused of surrendering to them. And cruelly, instead of applauding her health journey, the public dissected her face. What they didn't see was a deeper transformation. The psychological weight of living in a body constantly judged. First too big, then too thin. First too bold, then too changed. Here's the cruel irony. When she carried more weight, she symbolized freedom. When she lost it, she was punished for it. Monique's story isn't really about wrinkles or hollow cheeks. It's about what happens when a woman's identity is built in opposition to an industry, and then she dares to evolve. Hollywood loves reinvention, but only when it's comfortable, only when it doesn't disturb the fantasy. That day in Atlanta wasn't just a talk show appearance. It was a reckoning, a reminder that for women in the spotlight, aging isn't a real crime. Changing is. Because sometimes when you fight to reclaim your body, the world fights back harder. And in Hollywood, the glow of an Oscar can't protect you from the glare of expectation. Whitney Houston, the goddess who faded too fast. There was a time when Whitney Houston didn't walk onto a stage. She floated. In the early 1990s, the world watched her like she was untouchable, a voice sent from heaven, a smile so bright it felt eternal. In The Bodyguard, she wasn't just a singer or actress, she was a symbol. Perfect hair, sparkling eyes, that dazzling white grin that made audiences believe some stars were immune to time. Whitney looked like forever, but forever doesn't exist in real life. Behind the curtains, something darker was already growing, quietly, patiently, like a shadow waiting for the lights to dim. Fame gave her everything, and then demanded everything back. The pressure, the scrutiny, the loneliness of being adored by millions but understood by almost no one. In her final years, mornings didn't begin with peace. They began with survival. While the world woke up with coffee, Whitney woke up with vodka, hands trembling, nerves burning, trying to silence the chaos inside her. Alcohol became her comfort, but it also became corrosion. Her gums weakened, her teeth yellowed. That once iconic smile slowly crumbled into something haunted. By midday, it wasn't food she reached for, it was pills. Sleeping pills, anxiety meds, Little white packets whispered about in hotel hallways. Substances that didn't just dull pain, they carved it deeper. They hollowed her face. They drained her skin of life. Hotel staff in Los Angeles began to whisper, "That can't be her." A woman with greasy, tangled hair, cracked lips, gray skin, sitting alone like a stranger wearing Whitney's name. And then came February 2012. She still tried, still forced herself into the public eye, stepping into the Beverly Hilton before a pre-Grammy party. Cameras flashed like they always had. But this time, there was no roar, only silence. Her makeup couldn't hide the sweat. Her hair clumped in exhaustion. Her smile exposed teeth no longer shining, but stained by years of battle. One guest said they had to look 3 times before believing it was Whitney, and wished they hadn't recognized her at all. Hours later, she was gone, found lifeless in a bathtub. The world mourned the death. But what truly haunted people were the images before the death. Proof of how brutally fast addiction and pressure can erase even the most radiant beauty. Whitney didn't just age. She unraveled. In just a few short years, the goddess became a ghost. Not because time was cruel, but because life was. Her story is a reminder that fame is not protection. It is not a shield. Sometimes it's a magnifying glass, burning you alive while the world watches. And the most heartbreaking part? Whitney was never supposed to look like tragedy. She was supposed to look like forever. But forever slipped away. One bottle, one pill, one lonely night at a time. Vivica A. Fox, the mirror that turned against her. There was a time when Vivica A. Fox didn't chase cameras. The cameras chased her. In the mid-90s, she moved through Hollywood like electricity. Independence Day. Set it off. Red carpets where her smile flashed brighter than diamonds and her eyes burned with ambition. She wasn't just beautiful. She was sharp, confident, fully aware of the power she carried. But Hollywood has an expiration date for women, and Vivica knew it. By her early 40s, the whisper started, soft at first. She looks tired. Is that a line by her eye? Tiny observations that feel harmless to outsiders, but land like daggers when your career depends on illusion. Late at night, long after interviews ended and stylists went home, Vivica would sit alone in front of her vanity mirror. The same mirror that once reflected a rising star now revealed something else. Subtle creases, a hint of looseness around her jawline. Normal, human, inevitable. But in Hollywood, normal equals danger. Fear is loud in quiet rooms. And fear can convince you that time is your enemy. In 2007, she stepped onto the red carpet at the MTV Movie Awards wearing silver, ready to remind the world who she was. But when the flashbulbs hit her face, the energy shifted. Her cheeks looked fuller. Too full. Her smile stiff, frozen, almost mask-like. The internet reacted instantly. Headlines weren't kind. Comments were brutal. What happened to her face? She ruined herself. The irony? She was trying to preserve the very thing they were now mocking. Rumors swirled about rush procedures, fillers, Botox, last-minute corrections before the event. Whether exaggerated or true, it didn't matter. The damage wasn't medical. It was public. In a single night, the narrative flipped. From icon to cautionary tale. Directors hesitated. Audiences became critics. The industry that once rewarded her beauty now punished her for trying to maintain it. And somewhere beneath the makeup and speculation was a woman who could hear every whisper. What makes this story tragic isn't swelling or stiffness. It's the pressure, the constant awareness that for actresses, aging isn't gradual, it's announced. It's zoomed in on. It's compared side by side with your 25-year-old self, as if time itself is betrayal. Vivica didn't age badly. She aged publicly. And when you do that in Hollywood, the mirror doesn't just reflect you, it judges you. Her story is about fear disguised as self-preservation, about how the attempt to stay relevant can sometimes accelerate the very criticism you were trying to avoid. Because in this industry, youth is currency. And once the value shifts, they don't offer grace. They offer headlines. Eartha Kitt, the day Hollywood turned its back, before Scandal, before Exile, before the silence. There was Eartha Kitt, electric, untouchable, dangerous in the most captivating way. In the 1960s, when she slipped into the black catsuit as Catwoman, she didn't just play the role, she owned it. Razor-sharp cheekbones, eyes that sliced through the screen, a voice like velvet wraparound steel. She was sensual without apology, powerful without permission. Eartha wasn't made for background. She was born for the spotlight. And then, in one single afternoon in January 1968, the spotlight turned into a weapon. At a White House luncheon hosted by First Lady Lady Bird Johnson, surrounded by polished smiles and polite applause, Eartha did something unthinkable. She spoke the truth. She criticized the Vietnam War. She asked how mothers in poor communities were supposed to feel about their sons being sent to die. The room froze. Power does not like to be confronted, especially not by a black woman. The next morning, headlines exploded. Eartha Kitt shames the White House. But shame wasn't what she felt. She felt conviction. What she didn't expect was a punishment. Within weeks, contracts vanished. Invitations disappeared. Hollywood didn't argue with her. It erased her. The phone stopped ringing. By 1969, paparazzi photographed her walking the streets of New York alone. No entourage, no glow, just a woman suddenly cut off from the industry she helped shape. The stress was suffocating. Friends recalled her collapsing into tears in her apartment, whispering, "I've lost everything." And slowly, her body began to show it. Hair thinning, face hollowing, skin sagging under the weight of isolation. By the early 1970s, when she appeared publicly again, people gasped. She looked years older than her age, not because time had moved quickly, but because stress had. Rumors claimed she leaned on liquor, on tranquilizers, on anything that could soften the humiliation of being cast out. Whether exaggerated or not, the damage was visible. The once blazing Catwoman now appeared fragile, lined with exhaustion. But here's what makes Eartha's story different. She didn't age because of vanity. She aged because she dared to speak. Her transformation wasn't about chasing youth or escaping it. It was about surviving exile. When the industry shuts its doors on you, it doesn't just take your income. It takes your identity, your rhythm, your sense of belonging. Hollywood didn't just sideline Eartha Kitt. It punished her. And punishment has a way of carving itself into your face. Her story is a brutal reminder that sometimes aging isn't biological, it's political, it's emotional. It's what happens when you stand in a room full of power and refuse to stay quiet. Eartha Kitt didn't lose her beauty. She paid for her courage. Grace Jones, the immortal icon who couldn't outrun time. For decades, Grace Jones didn't look like she was aging. She looked like she was evolving beyond humanity. In the 1970s and 80s, she wasn't just a model or a singer. She was an event, a living sculpture. Sharp angles, fearless eyes, a body carved like armor. At Studio 54, she didn't blend into the chaos. She ruled it. Designers worshipped her. Cameras couldn't capture her fast enough. She felt less like a woman and more like a myth. Grace Jones was the definition of untouchable. While everyone else feared time, Grace seemed to mock it. But immortality is expensive. Behind the flashbulbs and the outrageous costumes was a lifestyle that never slept. Endless nights in New York. Cocaine like confetti. Vodka instead of water. The kind of excess that feels glamorous when you're young, and lethal when the years begin collecting their debt. Grace didn't slow down. She refused to, and that refusal became the crack in the legend. By the 2010s, photos began spreading online, not the polished, otherworldly Grace fans remembered, but a version that startled them. Makeup thick, unable to hide deep creases. Skin no longer taut, but crumpled with exhaustion. Her face looked sharper, harsher, as if time had suddenly accelerated. One onlooker whispered, "That's not Grace Jones, that's horror movie makeup." But it wasn't makeup. It was consequence. Tabloids sharpened their knives. Stories resurfaced about decades of drug-fueled parties, rumors of organ strain, of a body pushed far past its limits. Even in her 60s, Grace was still trying to live like she was 30, still chasing the high of the era when she was untouchable. Paris Fashion Week, 2015. Fans expected a goddess. Instead, they saw bulging eyes, sunken cheeks, stiff movements. The whispers returned. Is she still on stimulants? What happened to her? And then came the cruelest part, the word that no legend wants attached to their name: grotesque. At a private party in Miami, someone said the spotlight hit her face and the room went silent. Wrinkled spiderweb around her mouth, teeth discolored, neck sagging. A stylist murmured, "She looks like a walking mummy." The internet didn't mourn. It mocked, because Hollywood loves icons, but only while they remain frozen in the version people fell in love with. The moment the myth becomes human, the world panics. Grace Jones was once the symbol of defying time, but her obsession with staying eternal, mixed with decades of chemical escape, transformed her into something haunting, not because she aged, but because she aged in a world that never forgives change. Her story isn't just about wrinkles. It's about the terror of watching a legend become real. Because when your entire identity is built on being ageless, the first sign of decay feels like death. Grace didn't lose her fame. She lost the illusion that fame could stop time. Foxy Brown silenced steroids in the collapse of a queen. In the late 1990s, Foxy Brown didn't just enter the rap scene. She detonated it. With her dark, glowing skin, sharp features, and a voice that sliced through beats like a blade, she stood shoulder to shoulder with the biggest names in hip-hop. She was bold, provocative, untouchable. Cameras loved her. Magazines crowned her the Storm Queen of rap. She wasn't just famous. She was fire. And then the silence came. In 2005, at the height of what should have been her long reign, Foxy announced something that stunned the industry. She had lost her hearing due to a rare inner ear condition. For a rapper, sound isn't just part of the job. It is a job. The rhythm, the bass, the crowd's roar, gone. Imagine building your empire on sound and waking up to silence. The treatments began immediately. Heavy steroids, aggressive medication, desperation wrapped in hope. But the drugs didn't just fight the illness. They changed her face. Within months, the transformation was visible. Her cheeks swelled. Dark patches shadowed her skin. Under-eye bags deepened. The once sculpted features softened into something bloated and unfamiliar. She reportedly screamed at her reflection, unable to reconcile the woman in the mirror with the one on magazine covers. And the illness wasn't the only battle. New York nightlife never sleeps, and Foxy never fully left it. Vodka flowed. Rumors of cocaine resurfaced. The combination of steroids, stress, and substances became a perfect storm. Then came September 26, 2007, a Brooklyn courthouse. Reporters waiting. The police van door opened, and cameras froze. Gone was the fierce rapper from Il Na Na. In her place stood a swollen, exhausted woman with smeared makeup, brittle hair, and eyes that looked older than her years. One journalist wrote that she appeared 20 years older. She was only 29. 29. The internet didn't hesitate. Side-by-side comparisons spread like wildfire. Memes, mockery, pity, debate. Some blamed the disease. Others blamed addiction. A few whispered about hormones and diuretics used to control her weight, possibly accelerating the aging even further. But beneath the speculation was a harsher truth. Foxy Brown was fighting battles no one could see and losing them in public. Hearing loss steals more than sound. It steals balance, stability, confidence. For an artist whose identity depended on performance, it was psychological devastation. Add addiction into the mix, and the body begins to unravel fast. Her downfall wasn't gradual. It was explosive. In just 2 years, the Storm Queen became a cautionary headline, not remembered for her bars or her dominance, but for that courthouse image, trembling, hollow-eyed, a grandmother's fatigue in a young woman's body. Foxy didn't age because time moved quickly. She aged because trauma did. Because when disease strips away your foundation and substances promise escape, the cost is written across your face. And sometimes the loudest fall from fame is the one that happens in silence. Pam Grier, the queen who survived, but was never the same. In the 1970s, Pam Grier wasn't just a star, she was an era. When she stormed onto screens in Coffee and Foxy Brown, she became something Hollywood had never fully seen before. A black woman who wasn't waiting to be saved, softened, or sidelined. She was fierce, sensual, Dangerous. A queen of blaxploitation cinema whose presence lit up theaters like fire. Pam didn't play the fantasy. She was a fantasy. For millions, she looked immortal. But immortality shatters quietly. In September 1988, Pam heard the words that changed a life forever. Cervical cancer. Early stage, but the doctors were cold. 2 years to live. 2 years. Suddenly, the woman who once carried guns on screen was fighting a war inside her own body. Chemotherapy, radiation, endless hospital lights. The treatments didn't just attack the cancer. They attacked her youth. Her skin dried. Her hair fell in clumps. Her mouth ulcerated. Her body weakened until even standing felt like a battle. The goddess became fragile. She survived, and survival should have been the victory. But survival came with scars no camera could hide. After cancer, instead of relief, another slow poison remained. Cigarettes. Pam had smoked since the 70s. A pack a day, part of the image, part of the lifestyle. But now her body was already exhausted. And she didn't quit. She smoked harder, as if nicotine was the only thing that could steady the trauma. The toll was brutal. Yellowed teeth, receding gums, wrinkles deepening, a harshness settling into her face like permanent smoke. Photos from Beverly Hills in the mid-90s shocked fans. Not because she was older, but because she looked worn, like someone who had lived 3 lifetimes inside one. Makeup crews whispered. Co-stars complained about the smell clinging to her skin. The industry that once adored her beauty now treated her like decay. And then in 1998, she returned in Tarantino's Jackie Brown. The acting was powerful. The legend was still there. But audiences saw the difference. Her eyes looked heavier, lines carved into her face, her body thicker from medication and illness. Behind the scenes, rumors swirled about painkillers, strong enough to dull chemo's aftermath, but heavy enough to accelerate aging when mixed with nicotine. One witness recalled her sitting alone in her trailer, hands trembling around a lighter, ash falling like snow onto the floor. That wasn't Foxy Brown anymore, they said. That was a worn-out old woman. Pam Grier's story is not one of vanity. It's one of survival. Cancer doesn't just threaten death. It steals softness. It steals glow. It leaves behind a face marked by endurance, not glamour. And addiction, even in the form of cigarettes, becomes companion when the trauma is too loud. Pam didn't fade because Hollywood forgot her. Pam faded because life punished her body first. Her story is a bitter reminder. Sometimes the cruelest revenge of time isn't aging. It's what you have to survive to reach old age. She lived, but the world could see what it cost. Paula Jai Parker, from red carpets to the back seat. In 1995, when Friday hit theaters, Paula Jai Parker felt like the future. She had the spark, sharp beauty, bold energy, a presence that cut through scenes even when she wasn't speaking. Hollywood had room for her. Or at least it seemed that way. She wasn't just another supporting actress. She was a rising name, a woman who looked like she belonged under bright lights and flashing cameras. But in Hollywood, belonging can disappear overnight. The rumors started quietly, difficult, hard to work with. The kind of labels that don't need proof, just repetition. In an industry built on perception, once that narrative sticks, doors begin to close silently. And they did. Roles stopped coming. Meetings dried up. The phone went still. No dramatic headline. No public scandal. Just erasure. And erasure is violent in its own way. By 2014, the truth surfaced in a way no one expected. Paula admitted publicly that she and her young son had been living in their car. An actress who once walked red carpets was now curling up in the driver's seat at night, wrapping her child in blankets while the engine idled for warmth. No makeup artists, no stylists, just cold windows fogged with breath and the quiet fear of not knowing what tomorrow would bring. Poverty doesn't just empty bank accounts. It empties a body, stress carved into her face. Sleepless nights hollowed her eyes. Poor nutrition drained her skin of color. Paparazzi photos from Los Angeles that years shocked people. Brittle hair, wrinkled skin, a frame that looked decades older than her age. She was in her early 40s, but the exhaustion made her look closer to 60. The internet reacted with disbelief. Some pitied her. Others questioned how it could happen. But Hollywood is not built for permanence. It is built for replacement. Once the industry decided it no longer needed her, it moved on without hesitation. And Paula was left to survive in silence. She picked up minor roles, small gigs, anything that would bring stability. But the light that once danced in her eyes had dimmed. Each public appearance became a reminder of how fast fortune can reverse. Here's the truth no one likes to say out loud. Paula didn't age because of vanity. She aged because of rejection. Because when your livelihood, your identity, and your security are stripped away at once, the body absorbs the trauma. Stress accelerates time. Shame deepens lines. Fear steals glow. Her story isn't about wrinkles. It's about what happens when the machine spits you out. Hollywood sells dreams, but it doesn't protect its dreamers. And when you're no longer profitable, you're no longer visible. Paula Jai Parker didn't lose her youth to scandal or addiction. She lost it to abandonment. And sometimes, being forgotten ages you faster than anything else. LisaRaye McCoy, the first lady who fell from the palace. There was a moment when LisaRaye McCoy seemed untouchable. After captivating audiences in the Players Club, she became a symbol of polished glamour. Glowing skin, piercing eyes, curves draped in white like royalty. She wasn't just another actress navigating Hollywood. She had crossed into something bigger. In 2006, when she married Michael Missick, the Prime Minister of the Turks and Caicos Islands, it felt like a fairy tale. An actress becoming a nation's first lady. Private jets, oceanfront mansions, lavish galas where she shimmered under chandeliers instead of studio lights. She looked like she had escaped Hollywood's cruelty. But palaces can hide prisons. Behind the luxury were cracks, arguments, rumors of infidelity, allegations of violence. Whispers grew louder until they exploded into headlines. By 2008, the marriage collapsed publicly and violently. What once looked like a golden chapter became a scandal splashed across front pages. And when the palace doors closed behind her, they didn't just shut on a marriage, they shut on an identity. LisaRaye returned to America not as a first lady, not as a fairy tale bride, but as a woman carrying humiliation. Public shame is a specific kind of wound. It doesn't bleed privately. It stains everywhere. Within a year, the difference was visible. Photographers caught her in 2009, and fans struggled to reconcile what they saw. Deep lines framing her mouth, skin looser around her neck, eyes that once radiated confidence, now dulled by exhaustion. She was only 42, but the stress had written itself across her face like a confession. Desperate to reclaim control, she turned to something Hollywood often promises as salvation: cosmetic enhancement, Botox, fillers, procedures meant to rewind the clock. But sometimes the clock fights back. By 2011, at a Miami event, the internet erupted. Her cheeks appeared puffed, lips stiff, expressions strained. Instead of restoring youth, the intervention seemed to distort it. Before and after photos spread like wildfire. Headlines were cruel. What happened to LisaRaye? The tragedy wasn't surgery. It was desperation. Desperation to hold on to beauty when life has shaken your foundation. Desperation to look untouched when your world has collapsed behind closed doors. Because here's the reality. Divorce ages you. Scandal ages you. Humiliation ages you. And when you try to surgically erase emotional damage, it doesn't disappear. It hardens. LisaRaye's story isn't about vanity gone wrong. It's about what happens when a woman builds her life around status, only to watch it unravel in public. The glow of royalty faded into the harsh light of scrutiny. She didn't just fall from a palace. She fell from illusion. And when illusion shatters, the mirror doesn't lie. It reflects the cost. Della Reese, when an angel became fragile. Some stars aren't remembered for glamour. They're remembered for comfort. For millions of people, Della Reese wasn't just an actress or singer. She was faith in human form. From her early days as a jazz and gospel powerhouse to her beloved role as Tessin touched by an angel, she radiated warmth. Her smile felt eternal. Her voice carried the kind of strength that made people believe everything would be okay. She didn't just play an angel. She became one in the public imagination. But even angels break. The tragedy began on March 13th, 2002. Her adopted daughter, Dolores Owens, died from a rare pituitary disorder. The loss shattered her in a way no spotlight could soften. The woman who comforted the world on television was now a mother sobbing beside a hospital bed, staring at a silence she could not pray away. Grief is not gentle. It doesn't arrive like sadness. It arrives like collapse. After her daughter's death, Della's health began to unravel. Doctors diagnosed her with type 2 diabetes, a quiet, merciless disease that attacks blood vessels, nerves, skin, strength. Slowly, relentlessly, it began taking pieces of her. The years that followed showed the toll. Wrinkles deepened around her eyes and mouth. Her skin lost its glow, drying into dullness. Her hands trembled, fingers twisting with nerve damage. Walking became painful, then impossible. The cane came first, then the wheelchair. By 2009, fans who saw her at events were stunned. White hair, clouded eyes, a gaunt face that looked far older than the woman they remembered. It was as if grief and illness had accelerated time, aging her decades in less than 10 years. The contrast was heartbreaking. On screen, Tess stood tall, commanding, full of divine energy. In real life, paparazzi captured her slumped in a chair, frail and exhausted, forcing a smile that barely held. Headlines were cruel. The angel has aged beyond recognition. But this wasn't vanity. This was life. Losing a child hollows something inside you that never fully returns. Chronic illness adds another layer. Pain that doesn't end, fatigue that never lifts. Della wasn't fading because she stopped trying. She was fading because the body can only carry so much sorrow. In a 2012 interview, she admitted softly, "I look in the mirror and see a worn-out old woman." And behind those words was the harshest truth. Even the people who bring light cannot escape darkness. On November 19, 2017, Della Reese passed away at 86. When the world remembered her, they remembered both versions, the radiant angel and the fragile woman time left behind. Her story is a reminder that aging is not always about years. Sometimes it's about grief. Sometimes it's about illness. Sometimes it's about surviving after your heart has already been broken. Even angels grow tired, and even angels grow old. Maya Campbell, the sitcom sweetheart who disappeared. In the mid-1990s, Maya Campbell looked like the future of television. On In the House, she wasn't just another sitcom character. She was magnetic, smooth skin, bright eyes, effortless charm. The kind of beauty that felt natural, untouched. Producers saw longevity. Fans saw promise. She looked like someone who would glide from TV into major film roles without resistance. She was only in her 20s and already glowing. But behind that glow was something fragile. In the early 2000s, Maya was diagnosed with bipolar disorder. For some, that diagnosis becomes a roadmap toward stability. For Maya, it became the beginning of something far darker. Instead of consistent treatment, she drifted, medication battles, emotional spirals, and eventually drugs. Drugs don't just numb pain. They steal time. Her weight dropped quickly. Her once radiant skin turned gray and lifeless. The brightness in her eyes dulled into something distant. The transformation wasn't gradual. It was shocking. Then came 2009. A video surfaced online. Grainy, unfiltered, Maya wandering the streets, disoriented, muttering to herself. Her hair unwashed, teeth broken and discolored, face gaunt, almost skeletal. She was only 33, but she looked closer to 55. The internet exploded, not with compassion, but with shock. That can't be her. What happened? Side-by-side images flooded social media. The vibrant sitcom darling versus a woman who looked weathered by decades. But this wasn't decades. This was untreated illness colliding with addiction. Arrests followed. Mugshots circulated. In 2012, her booking photo revealed deep lines around her mouth, heavy bags under her eyes, skin that seemed stretched thin by exhaustion. Rumors spread about her drifting through rough neighborhoods, trading dignity for survival. The cruelty of public downfall is this. People remember who you were and weaponize it against who you become. In 2017, another viral clip showed her at a gas station. Clothes torn, face sagging, movement slow and uncertain. Fans cried watching it, not because she aged, but because she vanished. Maya Campbell didn't simply grow older. She deteriorated under the weight of mental illness and addiction, two forces that accelerate aging faster than time ever could. Bipolar disorder untreated can fracture identity. Drugs amplify the fracture. The body reflects the war happening inside. At 40, she looked decades beyond her years, and the world, once so quick to celebrate her beauty, now consumed her decline as spectacle. Her story is the most haunting of all, because it asks a question no one wants to answer. What happens when fame meets illness, and there is no safety net? Maya didn't lose her youth to vanity. She lost it to vulnerability, and vulnerability in Hollywood is rarely protected. It is exposed. She was once the bright promise of a generation. Now, she stands as proof that sometimes the fastest way to age is to fight battles no one sees, until it's too late. These women weren't just actresses, they were icons, legends, dreams on a screen. But fame doesn't stop illness. It doesn't erase trauma. And it can't protect anyone from time or from their own battles. So, tell me, which story shocked you the most and why? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you want more haunting Hollywood stories hidden behind the spotlight, hit subscribe, turn on notifications, and stay with us, because the next one might be even darker.